Hi, welcome to the OpenScore. My name is Michelle, and today's video is going to be a tour of my online piano studio. I often post pictures from my studio on Instagram stories, and I get questions asking about what my gear is and how I do my setup, so I thought I'd make a video on it. Before I had this monster of a setup, I did have my online piano studio using my acoustic grand, but I ran into some issues with posture and also internet connection, so I took the plunge and now everything is electronic, including my keyboard. And I have to tell you, I have been loving it. It's done wonders for my posture, and having that Ethernet cable connected to my computer has done wonders on making lessons very, very smooth. So I'm so glad I made that dive. So this is what my studio setup looks like. It does look a little intimidating, but I promise you it isn't. It does make me feel like I've got this giant command center and I'm piloting a spaceship, which is really nice. I'm going to post a list of all the gear that I'm using in the description below, along with some links. A little disclaimer first, I am not sponsored for any of these products here or any of my gear. I bought all this stuff with my own money. All these opinions expressed are solely my own, but if someone wants to sponsor me, I welcome it with open arms. So as a quick rundown for my main gear, I have my main computer, which runs most of the software and apps that allow the studio to function. I've got the laptop for Google homework notes. I have an iPad to share all of the music. I use 3 cameras for my studio. One is just the webcam that is built into the main Mac or the iMac. And then I have 2 Logitech C920s, one for the overhead for the keys, one for a side view and mobile close-up. In terms of lighting, I use sunlight. If there's no sunlight, then I have 2 lighting fixtures, which is a lamp and my ring light. Alright, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. I'm going to show you my absolute favorite part of this entire studio, and it's this lovely thing right here, the pull-out keyboard. So I currently use the Yamaha P515 keyboard, which is resting on a plexiglass keyboard stand on wheels. And it's on wheels because it just allows you to just literally push it in and also pull it out. If I wanted to, I can even do it with my foot, the bar rack. It's got a Z frame, this plexiglass keyboard stand, and I have to tell you, I absolutely love the plexiglass keyboard stand. If anyone was to sponsor me, I will definitely say wonderful things about this keyboard stand because it was a game changer. Originally, I thought about rebuilding a desk from scratch so I could have a pull-out keyboard, but when I found the plexiglass keyboard stand on Amazon, oh, it was a godsend. It's very, very sturdy. It is very, very durable. You can definitely travel with it. It's easy to put together, take apart. It's expandable vertically and also horizontally to virtually fit any keyboard. And it also comes with a little hook for your headphones, just like these. If it wasn't for this keyboard stand, I definitely would not even have this whole setup at all. Down below the keyboard, I have 2 pedals. One is a pedal that came with the Yamaha keyboard, just a regular sustain pedal. I am looking to upgrade so I can get the pedal that does the half pedaling. And then I also have the page flip butterfly, which allows me to turn the pages on my iPad. So moving up here is the control center. I have my main computer, which is an iMac that runs most of the software and programs to allow the studio to work. Unfortunately though, it has a non-removable 8 gigs of RAM, so it means I can't upgrade it. For the laptop is what handles whatever my main computer can, and that is basically Google. So for my students, what I do is I have a homework sheet. It's just a shared Google Doc. Google tends to eat up a lot of RAM, so my laptop handles that. It sits on top of a keyboard stand. It is super sturdy, heavy, durable. I love it. It holds different angles really well, easy to move. And what I like to do also is to take the main Mac's keyboard and slip it underneath here, so it's all really compact. It's almost like a harpsichord. I can type down here, I can type up here, streamlines everything, and also saves up on my desk real estate. Over on my right side is the 12.9-inch iPad, which I use to write the music and share it with my students. The app that I use is theOpenScore, and I had to scan all of my music in PDF format and upload it onto my iPad for use. This iPad also sits on top of a mobile device stand. It is also really sturdy and it has no trouble holding my music horizontally or vertically. It keeps its hold and angle really easy to move. And before I switched to a wireless mouse, I did use a trackpad for my main Mac, and I would just slip it under the stand. Again, streamlines the process, great on the posture, helps with the desk real estate as well. So I'm loving this like 3-tier hierarchy of stuff. Anything that is USB related gets funneled into my cable box, which houses a 7-slotted USB powered hub. And what I like about this is that if there is any trouble that happens on my main Mac, because sometimes it does, by just unplugging one USB, I can hook it into my laptop and still run my studio like there was no problem. For audio, I use this entry-level headset. I got it from Amazon. I think it's called like MPOW or something. I'll leave the details down in the description below. But yeah, it's what you're hearing right now in terms of audio. It's also got a lovely cable extender that helps attach itself to the main Mac, and I use these like little cable organizer nubs. Just keep everything nice and streamlined. Before I had the headphones, I actually used to use the AT2020 and hook that up through the Scarlett interface, but I found that to be a little cumbersome because I'd have to have the mic right in the center, and if I moved off to the side, the audio wouldn't be that great, and I'm trying to play piano. So this headset mic has definitely made things feel more freeing and less restrictive. Been good on the posture too. In terms of software, I use Zoom to teach my students. What you're seeing right now is what the main camera is going to see at the beginning of our lesson. And then my other 2 cameras I have are the overhead, which allow you to see my hands play. And I've also got a side camera, this one over here, and I put it on a stack of cable boxes. But if I ever want to have a separate angle, I just literally pick it up and I can get really close in, can move it around, show you different angles. So it's one of my favorite objects too. Both of these cameras can zoom in and out, and I'll show you the software for that very soon. So this is what the teacher's screen looks like. You can see that zoomed window does take up most of the room, but we're gonna head on over to the right side over here. This is the Logitech webcam settings. This is what I use to either change some of the brightness, the contrast, focus, all that stuff, but more importantly, it allows me to switch between my 2 webcams. I currently have a third one right here, but I don't actually use it for lessons, it's just for this video. And this is also what allows me to zoom in and out. So for example, let's say I select this one. This one here is the overhead, and we can go in from the standard. I think this is 4:3 ratio. This one here is the widescreen. From here you can also zoom in. And this gets a little bit finicky. You can zoom in a bit more. You can also move down, move up the keyboard, reverse y-axis. But yeah, you can move these all around, and I'll show you what the side camera looks like here. So zoom out just a bit. Here's what the widescreen will look like. Yeah, so here's the wide. The webcam right now is propped on top of a box of cables, which is where it gets this height, but you can also just simply pick it up and you can see and get some close-up shots of different angles from different places if you so need it. This is one of my favorite parts, this little mobile camera right over here. So I also have QuickTime open because, as you know, in Zoom you are allowed to screen share. So my iPad's not connected. Oh yeah, here by a cable. So you are allowed to share your screen. My computer's just running a lot of stuff right now, so it is a bit laggy, but yeah, so you can see my screen here. I can doodle all over it. But what I've learned is actually to have QuickTime open, which is this, and have it hooked up to the key to the iPad, because now that it's constantly connected to the computer, when I do the screen share, it drastically reduces the latency. I know right now that didn't prove it, but just because my poor little 8 gigs of RAM is trying to run very many things. But yes, usually the screen share and stuff is pretty quick. So let's try that again. See, that's what it's usually like. There you go. Over here, I do switch through my different cameras, but you will notice that if the camera that you are on for Zoom is not the exact same one as here for the Logitech, sometimes it can get a little finicky and it's gonna freeze. So let's see if that happens. I'm gonna switch to overhead. Yeah, you see how it's really laggy or it's freezing? It's because they're not both on the same cameras. But if I do switch everything to be on the same camera, it should be a little smoother now. This is the standard size 4:3 ratio, I think. Here's back to the widescreen. There you go. For the audio section of my studio, there are 2 parts. It's a little bit complicated, so if you want a video on how I wire everything together, let me know down in the comments below. Like I said, it's complicated and it deserves its own video. So to put it very simply, the first part is loopback. Loopback over here is basically like a virtual mixing station. And to oversimplify things, what it does is it helps funnel the audio of my mic and also the keyboard into Logic and also into Zoom. I like to minimize this along with the QuickTime player just to keep it less taxing on my computer. But you can see over here in Logic, you've got my meter for my voice. Here is the piano over here. For the MIDI of my keyboard, I use a software called Garriton, which is a virtual software instrument that allows me to use high quality samplings of instruments. I believe I'm using the Yamaha CFX Grand. Not sure, but I think that's what it is. And if you want to make any alterations to those sounds, you can. There's so many customizations to help you get the perfect sound that you like. You can also, one of my favorite things down over here, you can detune or retune your instrument. So as we know, it's COVID times. Some of our students' instruments are not in tune, but you can detune it to match theirs, and then playback and all that stuff is a lot easier. So yes, I really do love this. Honestly, I think it sounds really good. It sounds better than the sampling that's in-house in the Yamaha itself, but I'll give you a little tour of what that sounds like. Here's the side view. So this is what my online studio setup looks like. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you, especially for any of the teachers out there who are looking to get into the online studio world, or even just like, change up your settings, change up how you are doing your stuff. So yeah, let me know. Are you a teacher who teaches online? What's your setup like? Or are you a student who takes lessons online? What is your setup like? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!